Good morning, Lee.
Good morning, all. Nice to see you. Thanks for letting me join you.
Oh, thank you for making the trek.
Yeah, no problem. And a huge shout out to Lauren and Alex and oh my gosh, they have been y'all have been so helpful and answering a lot of my questions.
Good to hear. And not surprising.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there any people tuned in? You can count or see from here. Just wonder at this hour if that's because it's always been an issue about,
One watching now.
okay. Having meetings later, which we hear all the time. I'm just wondering,
Yeah,
people just tune in.
you can also go back and watch anytime, so you can see how many people have watched.
Yeah,
To give you a count.
just curious as to how many actually take advantage of it.
When I spend your time, it's like.
Well, it's 9 o'clock this Thursday, December 12th, 2024. I will now call to order this meeting of the Board of Harbor Commissioners for the town of LaPointe. This morning, we have Jay Wiltz
Here, Susie's right behind me.
Susan Widmar.
Stay here.
Yeah, I've been practicing.
Here.
Michael Collins.
Here.
Evan Erickson.
Here.
Myself. Glenn Carlson.
Here.
Staff present, we have Katie Kisner and Lauren Berteau. We also have joining us via Zoom, Lee Baker. Robin and Cal, I guess, are on their way in. I guess let's move on to public comment.
Cold out there.
It's very cold out there. And hearing no public comment, let's jump right into the,
I just want to thank the crew for working in these cold temperatures. And sea smoke. I know from experience that it's not very fun to be out time of year. Thank you for their dedication and work here.
Heard them early with the foghorn.
yeah.
Early.
Well, that being said, let's jump right into the Harbor Commission newsletter update from Lee Baker.
Great, thank you. So I have been, the site is being worked on. It's not live. But Alex and Katie and Lauren have been helpful in giving me tips and on developing it and so forth. So before it goes live, though, a couple questions I have for you all. What are your expectations around the timing? When do you want this to be up and live and accessible to the public? Before you answer that question, let me throw this out because it might influence the answer there. The other question I have is who's going to be the person? I think that's my heating guy. Who's going to be the person or people to review the content and layout and so forth before it goes live? Because I have some questions and definitely don't want to be the sole source of information.
Is there a way to gain temporary access for any or all of the commission?
I think we can make it live and then, but if we do that, then it's, it's open to the public, but I don't know that many people even know about it yet. So I don't think many people would go there.
Could you make screenshots of the pages that you've set up and I can forward those to the commissioners and they can review it like that?
Sure.
There are a couple questions, and one is the layout and the appearance of it now. But the second question is the process by which going forward, this thing is reviewed and I think it would be good if we could everyone see somehow that those shots of each of the pages would be helpful. As far as the second question and how this thing gets reviewed and approved, I think we might want to have a couple of us
Mhm.
assign the chore of meeting with you each time and giving a go or no go on everything. There should be a copy sent to the president anyway. I mean, it's not just us, so that he knows what we're talking about when some of us review this. And
Okay,
I'm suggesting that Susie and I do it.
I agree.
okay, great. And then and then maybe that fits in with the other question too. And the last page is the fun facts. And
Yeah.
those are questions I just made up. And maybe but I don't have the answers. I just have the questions. So I don't know if that's something that you, Michael, and Susie can provide the answers to, or direct me to the people that have those answers.
We know people who have the
We
answer
got
to those
people.
questions.
Okay,
They're right here.
I thought, that's what I figured. Okay.
Okay, yes.
So
So-
it sounds like, so I should not take the time now during your meeting to do that, but do that separately offline to you, Michael and Susie. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Also, on everything, copy Katie. It's just so she sees it too.
absolutely.
But we'll do the
And probably Lauren as well. It
oh, yeah.
keeps the
exactly.
Yeah.
chain of information.
Everybody has the content.
Okay.
Thank you so
great.
much,
And I do like
Great.
the idea of the screenshots and being able to,
all of us.
Yeah, proofread it and
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Great. Now, the only thing of doing this, I mean, I can double check that too, and maybe Lauren can help me with that, or Katie can. The screenshots will have the layout, but you won't be able to know if those links are all working, but that's my job
That's it.
to make sure they
Yeah.
do work.
Right.
Okay, great. All right, well, I'll probably get that out to you later today.
great.
Super. Thank you, Lee. so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna stay on the meeting because I'm interested in the conversation about the potential for an advertising committee.
All right. Don't have anything further there. Let's jump into the minutes from the December 5th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 5th, 2024.
Second that.
There's no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is Katie's report, Chief Administrative Officer report.
Yeah, it's short and agenda item. But I do have the update of the balances of the bank accounts for the Harbor Commission as of Tuesday, the 10th. Just for the Miffle Utility checking account as of Tuesday was at $611, 453 cents, or $453.95.
611,450.
Yeah. Sorry. And I'm only reading that because it was pointed out to me last week that they didn't hear the amount that was in that account. Which I didn't say it, so if it's preferred that I read the amount in each account every week, please just let me know. The December revenue as of Tuesday was just over 19,000, which was just under 17% of the budgeted income for the month. And then the only other thing I have is the hopefully newly appointed advertising committee will be meeting with the chamber tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Are you joining in on that meeting?
Yes.
Seems that the December revenues, for going through, about a third of the month, we should have more than 16%, I think, of the revenue in. at this point.
Yeah, that does seem kind of low.
Yeah.
Obviously, Free Ferry Weekend is a slow, I mean, Saturday's busy, but no revenue. And then Sunday's slow. But we do have the holidays coming up, and I imagine we'll have some traffic at the end of the year that should boost that.
Yeah, and I'm happy to look into further. That was based off of the QuickBooks report. I'm happy to look into further as to why or those numbers.
And I think the debt service amount, the 13,928, we've now paid out everything that we were
Yes.
planning to pay out of that.
Yes,
So
for
that's kind of
2025.
what's the residual in
Yes.
that account. And we're gonna use that account, I guess, as the flow through account when we pay off things. Is that the plan?
The plan would be to have the money set aside for the loan payments in that account and to ideally, it'll eventually get paid out of the utility account, but we'll transfer those funds
Okay.
before it's paid out next time. But yes, all the loan payments for 2024 have been made. That's why that account is at the 13,000.
Okay, thanks.
Is that where the CD account will go once it matures? Is into that account or?
We're changing the name of the CD account. That's gonna be the emergency account.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the commission and the town board approved that.
Yeah, just didn't know where it was, because it's in a CD now, it's gonna have to go to some other account and call it whatever you want, but.
It'll probably still be in a CD,
Okay. All right.
at least a short-term one. Or at least most of it anyhow.
Anything else, Katie, or anything else for Katie?
Anything else?
Well, I will move that we put Chief Administrative Officer's report on file.
I'll second.
There's no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Agenda item 7, formation of an advertising committee.
Well, we discussed this a little bit last meeting. We decided that Michael Collins and Susan Widmar would be the two on the committee. Was there gonna be anyone else?
Something,
Oh,
Katie.
And Katie,
the other, there were some uncertainties at the time, which have been cleared up since then. And we had asked the chamber to shift from a 50-50 to a 30-70 split. And they have taken that to the board and agreed. So we are operating a little more favorable. The advertising split. The second thing is just a generic comment. I've watched the way the advertising co-op and otherwise has worked over years. And both the strategy and the execution, what I mean by execution is actually purchasing the advertising and doing it with some real economies with partnerships with others, has always been really good. I mean, it's a model, in my opinion, of effective, good, smart advertising.
I wish they'd provide that to us. I think that
Well,
would help
and that's-
everyone understand
Yeah,
where it's going,
that's-
and how it's being used.
That's, I think, the product of this committee is to have that. But its effectiveness has been good. The only other thing I should mention is that most decisions for purchasing happen, actually, a lot of them around this time of year. And the advertising is designed in the large measure, we'll hear more about this from Sharon, to land in the shoulder season, not the summer. It's designed to pump up both sides of the special. So timing will be something I think this commission would be interested in seeing, especially since we're probably going to be finding ourselves running, if not later and later into the fall, simply running all year. So that's going to impact how money is spent.
I'd like to propose that maybe we expand the name beyond just advertising to marketing. Or advertising and marketing. And I say that because I think that, say this website is going to be,
Yes,
that you want that to tie in to what
Very
is
much.
happening
It's an instrument.
Yeah, and that's not really,
Well, Marcom might even be more accurate.
Sorry?
Marcom, Marketing Communications.
marketing and communications. I move that we establish Marketing and Communications Committee with Michael Collins and Susan Widmar and Katie Kisner and Woodley Baker be interested in.
Oh, would that be good?
And Lee Baker as members.
Yeah, that's what I did my whole professional career. So I'd love to. Be fun.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yay.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just a question of scheduling. Tomorrow, we have that meeting at 10. It's a Zoom. Can Lee be included in that meeting?
I'll send her the.
Are you available tomorrow at 10?
Yeah, I'm wide open tomorrow. Yeah, that's
Okay.
perfect. Thank you.
It'll-
Thanks for including me.
Oh, thank you. It'll include Sharon and those just named in here.
Great, good. I love
Thanks
that
a lot.
idea. That works really well with the website. So that's great.
Super.
And I guess I would just assume that you'll reach out to Nicole because I'm sure that, Leanne or Robin have a lot of insights also into marketing.
Yeah, I was gonna go talk with Robin and
Okay.
Leanne.
Yeah.
We just confirmed the 10 o'clock meeting.
So is Leanne going to be able to?
I had thrown out to her that we were wanting to meet and that we would like for her to join as well, and I told Sharon that as well. But I have not confirmed the time or anything with Nicole yet, so.
Did I call the vote on that?
Yes.
Okay. Next up is considering extending kind of free ferry day to the attendees of the EMR training that was held on, was that the 7th?
Yeah, so this is nothing they requested. It's just something I witnessed that all the EMRs who were in training had to be in training all day on Saturday during Free Ferry Day.
Mm.
I thought it would be a really nice thing for the island or the commission to do to extend that gratis pass for just one ride on whatever day they're able to reschedule. I just think they put in really long, hard day training to save us all. So I thought it would be nice for us to extend that courtesy to them.
I agree with that. It's a huge commitment. I don't know how many hours of training they're undertaking, but I know it's been a couple of weekends.
I'm not sure what the new EMR exact number is. I don't want to misquote, but it's hundreds of hours. And, it was 8 hours that day of hands-on training.
So I'll move that we provide or ask Nicole to provide a one-time round trip courtesy pass comparable to what the Free Ferry Day pass was for attendees of the EMR training on December 7th.
I'd second that.
And also, I think Sarah Schramm, I believe she was a part of that training weekend.
Yes.
Able to participate.
I'm not sure if she's riding gratis right now or not. You'd have to ask with the town about that. There was EMTs that attended too, but they were just there for a couple of hours. So
Yeah.
I could have gone later if I wanted.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think Sarah does have a pass.
Okay,
She has a town card.
okay.
Is there a way to, how are they gonna know like who was involved?
So there was a sign up sheet for that day for the people that attended. I think we could go off that. We could get that to Miffle and then they could figure out however.
And then I know Ashley Kisner was sick during that day as well, so I think even though she wasn't able to attend class, she should also get that pass.
Okay.
Go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, it'd be good if you gave us the list and then we'll just make our VIP passes because to tell the whole, it's too much to check them off.
Yeah.
Maybe someone could reach out to Sarah and ask her for a list.
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
Okay.
Sure.
We'll wait to VIPs. Or
Okay.
some of the-
I'll have Sarah get it to Robin.
And then they can just.
That's great.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, on to the budget.
Do we have a second on that?
Yep.
Okay,
You first made the motion and Mike seconded.
All in favor then?
Aye.
Opposed? On to the budget for 2025. Well, the budget committee sat down with Robin and Cal yesterday for about 4 hours and we had a very productive
Tuesday.
okay. Discussion of their wants and needs. Unfortunately, it moved us in the opposite direction that we were trying to get. Which leaves us with a significant deficit that I don't know that we're able to recover from.
One thing I want to point out is that in the budget, our revenue is on this budget, almost 5.1 million. And in the financial model of that we got from Ehlers, it's they were projecting around that 5.6 mark. We do need to make some sort of tariff increase to match the financial model at least of around 500,000. Which is roughly a 10% increase. This other sheet here is a spreadsheet that I work with the information that Robin gave us. And Katie has it, but it's totally integrated where, essentially you just enter in the percentage and it she'll change all the numbers and automatically round up to the nearest quarter. And then give us, what our new revenue is versus our old revenue.
Is that spreadsheet, I haven't seen this yet, but, does it, register the EMT card, the MAG cards?
From a little bit of information I got from Robin, yes, at least for adult ridership, which is adult ridership accounts for, where are you?
I don't believe it differentiates though, the
gotta be
discounted rate.
I do. I have that in.
Okay.
So I have in a column of adult MAG card and adult no MAG card. Robin let us know that about 40% of the ridership, at least for adult and car, I'm gonna assume car.
Yeah, it was only a 40% is what that discount card, so I
Yeah.
can't say it's adult versus car, it's just.
It's hard to differentiate through there, but so I mean, the adult category is the largest revenue item. So there is that 40% difference. And I use for MAG card rate, I believe I used either the lowest or the second lowest price on the MAG card to use in this sheet
And that's based on actual ridership
from
through,
what was that, November 23 to?
I did it from November 1st last year through October 31st this year.
Yeah.
okay. So it is a calendar year.
So we're assuming that ridership should be just about the same as it was.
Question, or just generally, I guess, for the board or the commission. So this latest shows a $1.3 million roughly shortfall. This 500,000 that you're talking about would not get us.
No, I'm just pointing out that at least in compared to the financial model that Ehlers produced, our revenue number is low compared to the model. It does not solve our $1.3 million issue.
What is the plan to close that gap? Is it the plan of the budget committee to try first to reduce expenses in the budget and then come up with a tariff structure that will then result in a break even for the year? I think that we don't want to have a deficit budget. If we can have a break even for the year, at least on the budget. What is the thinking of the committee on that?
Well, we're meeting with Cal and Robin after this meeting, right?
Well, I didn't hear back from
Okay.
everybody, so I mean, if everybody can stay, I recommend it, but if not, we'll set up a time to meet again.
Yeah, but I mean, before we go and raise rates 30% to make up that 1.3, I'm just throwing it that 30% out there. I haven't played with it exactly. I think we really need to go in here and try to go through wants and needs and figure out where we can cut money before we just start increasing revenue.
And as for a goal, is the goal to break even, to a budget that does that? Is that a stated goal? In your head? Good, okay. Because there are other ways.
Oh, yeah,
Well, yeah, if there's a deficit, it's gonna come out of the tax levy,
Exactly right.
right.
so.
Which we would like to avoid.
Yeah,
Good, okay.
Maybe the train will come back into the station.
So yeah, and like I pointed out at the meeting the other day where the town board meeting where this year's gonna be a struggle because we're not getting any help from the federal variable program. Next year, things should hopefully be a little easier to create a more balanced budget.
I don't think we're gonna receive that money in 2025.
no, 26.
26.
Yeah, so we miss out for 2025.
That's right.
Unless we're considered a non-efficiency. We're gonna be at the mercy of the federal government.
So I'd like to ask Robin, when we had the last meeting and mentioned the idea of potentially raising the one-way ticket from $9, the cash price, from $9 to $12. Did I recall you said something about that's about where Washington Island is now?
So they're a little less than us, correct? They handle. Well, somebody always shares all the revenue. But they handle, a lot of people because they're a bigger target market in Door County.
Yeah.
You got Milwaukee, you got Chicago, and so,
They make it up in volume.
well, yeah, I mean, it's a different kind of volume.
Yeah.
Their routes a little longer. I mean, they can't do a half hour schedule.
If I remember correctly, when you, Mike and Gary sent Sam Roman and I, they're talking to, who's their marine operator? Hoyt? I mean, essentially during the summertime, they're running 4 boats nonstop throughout the summertime. They're just jam-packed busy. So, I mean, their volume is much more than,
They have hotels that hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they have a lot, they have the target market, it's there for a possible third, right?
And what is now, Mackinaw's up to like $36?
If they're running anything at all.
Yeah, I think they just raised something,
Ownership Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Thank you.
and I don't know if I created that spreadsheet a while back, figuring out cost of per hour per boat based on crew and all that. And one thing I'm looking at, maybe Robin can give insight on it, but and it doesn't create a whole bunch of revenue, but like the day special rate of $480 for bringing propane semis and whatnot over. Essentially that takes up a lot of boat time. And so a lot of boat time is a lot of dollars per hour. So I'm almost thinking that maybe, again, it's not going to create a lot of revenue, but there's certain areas where we can target and say, okay, the day special is not, it's losing money, it's not breaking even.
I wondered if there was opportunity cost associated with it since other vehicles or passengers.
Yeah, I saw
Either.
there are other line items that specify gallons of propane. So is that in addition to that cost, Robin? Do they pay like the boat fee?
If I'm wrong, when they figure a fuel truck coming over that's a special trip, there's a minimum charge. If it's over that minimum charge, then it's the cost of the truck. And it's 6 cents per gallon,
Okay,
you know what I mean? So it was a special, you know, if it's a special boat at midnight, you know, it would be, they'd have to go above that $700 special trip charge. So, yeah, I mean, yacht club, I think they could, be $800 per, a gasoline semi. And the propane is, you know, it's a little bit shorter truck and I don't think they carry quite as much.
And I just look at, you know, in the terms of those transports, essentially the boat makes 2 round trips for that one transport. Or the boat sits over here and waits, doesn't it? So it takes up a lot of time. And a lot of time is crew hours, boat hours.
Lost driving.
And again, this isn't gonna solve our budgetary issue, but there are areas where we can target and say, you know, these trips aren't even close to breaking even, and maybe we need to look at and reassess some of these rates.
I mean, it's obvious, you know, nearly all the revenue comes from, you know, like 10 or 12 categories.
Right.
I was looking through, and saw, a variance in fares, significant variance in fares, for, it seems like, things of the same length. Like, for one example, you know, we've got a truck with a trailer 22 to 25 feet at $37.50. And then a camper 22 to 25 for $60.50. And yes.
Yeah, we added that $5 for the sanitary fee. So, but campers are wide and you have to usually run them down the center and we have more accidents with them. They require a lot more care, so that's why we were higher on campers. The Power XL has their own list of prices. Because they're big, wide, and we don't typically charge a roll down. Everything's attached.
Thank you. Well, go forth. Good luck, and the less, you know, I mean, obviously, we want to keep the boats in good repair, and well maintained. And those are the needs.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, if you guys can meet with Cal and Robin and come up with sort of what is going to be a lean budget for this year anyhow, this coming year. I think that we really just see what that number is that we need to come up with and do the math on the tariffs.
We did make a few cuts. Cal came up with some suggestions for cost saving in the maintenance end.
Yeah, so the capital projects in here, Cal has gone through and given us some larger items that could be postponed.
That's exactly.
So really, we need to revisit all the other categories
Yep.
too, to see where we can cut expenses and then. But yes, the capital projects that are listed in this one have already been gone through and postponed.
Go ahead, Cal.
So, I don't know if we were gonna make it to public comments, I was saving it till then, but since it's in the nature of the capital expenses. I did just hear last night that we have secured the grant. Last thing I have to do is just get an updated number for the epoxy, coated steel. But even with that, it's secured, it's locked in. So that's, going to be massive win for the town and getting some projects done with state assistance.
Congratulations.
And is that the 116,000? That's our commitment towards that?
Yeah, I believe so. I thought it was a little bit more than that.
Or maybe
I thought it was closer to like 180.
Yeah.
okay, like there's a,
That gets us $500,000 or how much does that get us?
I think
about
it's a $700,000.
Great.
They're paying about 700,000 currently before the epoxy.
Okay,
And then we're paying about $180,000, so it's $880,000 project in total, of which the state is committing $700,000.
nice.
That's amazing.
This is the Harbor Assistance Program.
Yes, so that's what I've been working on pretty hard to.
Great.
Thank you, that's great.
That's
good.
great.
Good job.
Thanks.
Need for that dock, make sure the water's good on this. So this includes a new primary dock or A-ramp that is rebuilt with the new ramp, and then dredging both harbors and replacing pilot is all in
Right.
the project.
And when would you want this project to take place?
Spring,
Spring of 2025.
as soon as possible, yes.
Yeah.
Great.
And to be clear, on this budget, only the percentage that we would be accountable for is.
It's in there.
In our
It's
budget,
not
yeah.
the
But I just wanna, yeah.
800,000.
Appreciate it.
Big cheer, but not.
And the dredging.
It'd be kind of nice.
The dredging is built in.
Good.
Great.
That's huge.
Right, we could. Do we have bills? No bills.
That's
All right.
Yeah.
That's news all day.
So let's move on then to agenda item 11, general obligation bond loan 2025 payment transfer.
So this is on here because there's a stipulation in our rules that you have to set aside the money for the next year, prior year by the end of December, is it the end or should have already
Rick said that by the end of
by the
this
end of
month,
this month?
so.
So the total is $506,430.71. So I just wanted a motion that it's okay to advise Melissa to transfer that into our debt service fund safety account by the end of this month.
And also confirming which
Which-
account,
Yes.
that we want to transfer
The money is
that
fine.
money from.
So we need a motion to do that.
Now, that's not the revenue bond.
It is
No.
not,
It's the
so
general obligation.
Okay.
speaking with Rick, we only have to have the general obligation money for 2025 into the account that only has the 13,000. Right now, that needs to be in that account.
Same account, just, okay.
And then for the revenue bond payments, we plan to transfer that money throughout the year, next year.
From the reserve account or,
Well, and so that's something I need to confirm with Rick, because I
Yeah.
asked him to confirm like what, like the purpose, like why specifically that account was set up.
Yeah.
And I just need to ask him if it is okay to transfer that money
yeah,
from that account. Basically that account is set up like to only access if we needed it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if it is okay to transfer the general obligation loan payments
need
for
it.
2025.
yeah. My recommendation that
Right.
they wanted that reserve fund for revenue like forever.
And that's my understanding of it.
But I mean, because I remember when we were negotiating it, he's like, well, if your financials are looking good, we won't maybe require you to have it after maybe 2 years.
Okay.
That was really, they want to make sure they.
And
get
that's
that
what he
revenue.
told me.
Yeah.
But I did not specifically ask if I could transfer, but that would also only leave like $20,000 in that account. It wouldn't leave it would be like $20,000 in that account. So then that would leave, we can either transfer it from the utility account or I don't think we don't want to do anything with the CD, but
I'd say, can we take it out of the utility account, but less the 13,000 that's already in the debt service? So whatever that would, 493,000 something.
$492,502.16. transfer.
Seven.
Make that motion.
I'd second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
they're probably looking at needing to go into the line of credit, probably starting in January.
Are we gonna borrow from the town again or go through Bremer Bank?
Well, so we've got a $600,000 line of credit with Bremer. And the town will be getting a big chunk of property tax money at the end of January. So I think maybe the worst case is to borrow the money from Bremer for a month. And then repay it with borrowing from the town.
Would we also want to revisit the amount of working capital that Miffle has? What they had throughout the summer, is it still necessary for?
I think
the
that
winter
should-
months?
Is it at 700,000 right now?
Yeah, I think it should be looked at when you guys, do maybe not the budget, but I think after the end of the year, you're gonna be able to see all the bank statements and everything and look at what the average daily balances were and see, how much you think is sort of way above what was needed.
Anything else for payment transfer discussion? Then let's move on to agenda item 12, review of the Miffle management contract.
I'd like to see that we go into closed session.
All right.
for that.
I will make a motion that we go into closed session. Under state statute 19.5, paren 1, paren E, for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties and the investing in public funds or conducting other specified public business.
Thank you, guys.
I'll second.
Roll call vote for this one. Jay Wiltz,
Aye. Yes.
Susan Whitmire,
Yes.